I want to do a update of my cooler radio. Last video I did, I thought I was pretty much done, but I've done a little bit more to it. One of the big things I did, I upgraded the head unit finally. Not really happy with this one. It still doesn't have Bluetooth, so it will be getting changed eventually, but I got this one basically for free and $20 given to me, I guess you could say. And I finally ripped it apart and rewired everything, so it's a lot more clean on the inside. There's not just a rat's nest of wires. It's not as clean as I'd like it to be, but without basically completely starting from scratch and buying a new cooler, it's the best I was gonna get. So if you haven't seen my other video, I'll start fresh with this one. I'll go over everything. You can see I got the radio on top. I kind of regret doing that. I like it. Well, actually I don't. I do and I don't. I like it because it's, you bend down, you can look at it, change the song, you don't have to like squat down and, my old one was right here, and then, play with it, and if you're in the sun or anything like that, you're not going to see it. So, I do and I don't like it. The reason I don't is because you can't, sit down on it anymore. But, I wouldn't be able to anyways because I have the bigger wheels and tires on there. As long as the front, feet or whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure if I had those in the last video, so that might definitely be a new thing too. I'll go over everything though. So we'll start at the top. Of course, you got the head unit. This is a mechless receiver, so there's no CD slot on it. So it's really thin and really light. And light is kind of nice when you got a cooler that sometimes you got to pick up. So in the front here, you see I got 6 switches. This one is different for a reason. I knew it was like that. This knob does not do anything anymore. That used to be for a subwoofer that I had in there. It was like an all-in-one subwoofer and amp and box all built into one little thing. It sounded terrible. The acoustics were terrible having it in the box, and the thing added like 20 pounds. Plus, obviously that killed the battery a lot quicker. Over here I got a digital voltmeter. Comes on with the radio. Right here I have two 2.1 amp USB ports just to charge. I got a just a 12 volt socket, whatever you want to call them, 12 volt plug. And then down there I got a AC outlet, 120 volts. I have the other AC outlet right there. This one kind of got messed up when I was cutting it, so you can see the gap on the side. It's a lot more visible in the video. It's not as bad in person. I got 2 cool white LED strips right there, and then I got 1 on each side. And this is the real cool white, almost like a bluish. And then for more like a natural light, under these speaker grills, and then on each side of the handle like this, I have warm white ones. And that gives like a real natural kind of daylight feel, which is nice at night. Sometimes it's not so hard on the eyes. The 5th switch does those. 4th one does the warm white LEDs. The 3rd one turns the power inverter on and off. I would do that, but I actually just popped the fuse playing with it, so I gotta replace that, but that's what that does. The 2nd one turns the this little power bank on, and the 1st one does the radio and the voltmeter. I'm not gonna turn music on because I don't want to deal with the copyright and all that stuff. So this knob right here, this one used to be for the subwoofer. I had it, the remote wire going through there so I could have it on only when I wanted. And then that was the gain knob for the subwoofer. And then you can see on the perimeter here, if it'll focus, I have a set of color changing LEDs all the way around. And there's this little eye, the remote control. There's no power switch for them. And then on the back you can see I just used a big threaded rod, like a 3/4 inch threaded rod for the wheels. And then in my last video I had the antenna mounted under the lid on the inside just to keep it cleaner. I like that better, but I didn't get really good service at all, reception, so moved it out here. And I actually grounded it too. I didn't realize antennas were supposed to be grounded. Probably stupid, I know, but I did not realize that. These 2 screws right here, this one and this one, were for the subwoofer on the inside, but I don't have it anymore, but I didn't want holes there, so I just left the screws. These are the charging posts. Connect the negative there and the positive there. This handle, of course, comes up. I do apologize, I don't know why this thing isn't focusing. I moved the battery back and secured it as well, so now it doesn't shake around. And the weight's all in the back now, so it tilts a lot easier. I still gotta get bigger, longer feet for the front because it kind of tilts down. Let's close that and let's pop it open. Okay, so right off the bat, I'll show you my favorite part. That light right there, I just got some of those same warm white LED strips right there. I got 2 of them. It's not gonna focus because my flashlight's on the camera and I can't turn it off. Those are connected to this little thing right here. It's a like a magnetized switch basically. So when it makes contact, it shuts the light off, and then when I open it, it turns that light on. And that light doesn't look like a lot, but at night or when it's dark, I mean, it lights up this whole inside of the cooler. Let me go ahead and click the light back on. So the lid is a lot simpler now. You remember the old radio, the antenna was going over here. So I'm really scoot it back. The antenna was going down this side. I didn't really have anything holding those looms down, those wire looms. And then the old radio had Bluetooth, but it was really shitty. It had a whole standalone module that took up half the lid. And of course you can see how thin that radio is, how shallow it is, I mean. It's like 3.5, 4 inches. I rerouted the antenna wire on the other side to keep it away from all the power. So you can see when it closes, you know, you got the loom like that. The antenna wire right there. And this little bag, just kind of like the goodie bag, I got like cords in there, like an auxiliary cable. I keep this remote in there. This is for the LEDs. So you turn it on and self-explanatory, you know, it's got all the different sequences and all that good stuff. You can change to a solid color. You can turn it on white, which turns on all the colors, and then it kind of just glows white on the walls. We'll put that up. So that's just kind of like a mesh bag I found. The inverter was one of those just cheap cup inverters you find at like Murray's or AutoZone, something like that. I took the sockets out and I was going to use those, but they weren't really friendly to be surface mounted. They were more meant to be like flush mounted. So I went to Ace Hardware and they sold these individual sockets for like $2 or $3, and then just connected to the wires which came out of the inverter. And then you can see there's 2 more USB inputs in there, or chargers in there, but I don't really ever open that. I just, in the old cooler, I had it just kind of hanging there. It really looked crappy. That's the control box for the LEDs. And I got this big thing hanging here. This is a, I think it's like a 10 or a 15 watt LED work light. This thing, like if the power goes out, I can plug it into a, you know, right there, the 120, the AC outlet, or I can use the, it's got a 12 volt input, which is one of the cords that's in this bag. And this thing will light up my whole downstairs of my house, so that's really nice to have. That's where the charging cables come through, the charging posts, positive and negative. The antenna wire comes through way down there. And a lot of people are curious about the battery. I just used L brackets. I got one on the front, one on each side, and then in the back there's this, it just kind of pushes up against the little ledge right there. You can't really see it under this handle, but there's a little indent. It pushes up against that, and this battery's not going nowhere. This is a 35 amp hour battery, by the way. This thing, I have not been able to kill it yet, so that's pretty sweet. You see the wire, I just got it loomed up and cut actually about 10 foot of extra wire out of there, so that's nice. This is that little bass knob from the Boss amp. I don't want to take it out because obviously it would leave a nasty hole. The battery used to be up here. I don't know why I decided it would be a good idea to push it forward, but you know, obviously when you got the wheels in there, you know, when you tilt it back, that's just not a good center of gravity to have. So that's all the switches back there. More wire, and I mean, that's really it. A lot of people, you know, oh, where can I put my beer? Where can I put the ice? I didn't build this to be a cooler. Obviously, as you can see, there's way too much going on. If I just wanted a radio and a battery, I could have easily got, you know, the battery squished over to the side, you know, got two smaller ones and then built a divider, but I don't ever use coolers, so I'm perfectly happy with this one. I think I got probably, sadly enough to admit, probably about $350 into it. Did all the work myself. Of course, I would never pay anybody to do it because I love doing stuff like this. It's not easy, I'll say that much. You know, if you just want something simple like a radio and some speakers and a battery, that's very simple, but I wanted everything in here. I wanted lights. I wanted a power inverter, you know, because we lose power a lot out here. We get bad storms, so this is like my lifesaver, you know, when we don't have power. This keeps me entertained. So yeah, you know, if you got any questions, feel free to ask. I do love building these, so if you ever wanted one, shipping would be outrageous. So I'm in the lower Michigan area, near like Toledo, Ohio, like right around the Michigan border, right on Lake Erie. So I'd love to build them. So if you got ideas, or of course I would need a down payment. I think the down payment would just be paying for everything, and then labor would be after you come, you know, pick it up or whatever. Get you a nice side view. So you can see like this how it's tilted forward. I just used metal U brackets down there for the feet, and they were definitely not long enough. They were like 4 inches, but that wasn't enough. But yeah, this thing definitely gets a lot of attention. Anybody I have come over or bring it outside, people go crazy about this thing. I've had quite a few cash offers, but nobody wants to buy them for what they're worth, honestly. They just want, oh, it's a cooler radio, that's sweet, you know, give me $100 for it. And like, no way. The labor alone, just rewiring this thing that I did today, took me like, I mean, I stopped for a few breaks, but altogether it took me at least 4 or 5 hours just to rewire this thing. And that's not the cutting, the measuring, you know, installing everything. Everything was installed, so it's definitely fun. And check out my channel, go down a little bit. It's this is my 3rd one. The first one was just kind of like a, you know, how's this idea gonna work? Is it gonna be cool type thing? Just a real shitty old cooler with a radio and a battery. And then the second one was actually this same cooler, but it was like blue and white instead of black and gray. So it was sweet. It was real simple. Most of the same stuff actually, but I just didn't like the color scheme. And the radio was actually where the switches are. So it's definitely, I definitely upgraded over time. I actually can't wait to build another one. If I had the money right now, I'd start ordering parts and try to sell this one.